Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here to our 12th race of the third season of the NCRA Duracell Cup Series. Great to be back in the commentator's booth. It's actually been about a week and a half, 2 weeks, since I've actually had recorded last week's race at Texas Motor Speedway, largely in part to the fact of painting cars here for tonight's special event. This is the third annual Duracell Cup Series Throne of Games 500 special event where drivers will be sporting game-related liveries all the way through the field, and it's always a track and a venue that the fans always love to come out at to be able to see the special schemes that the drivers selected. On the front row for tonight's event is going to be Carter Friesen and Cole Baker, a couple of drivers that are actually former Daytona 500 winners in this series. Friesen, of course, winning the Daytona 500 back in Season 1. Baker winning the Daytona 500 in Season 2. And both of them still looking for the, one of them is looking for their first win on the season. The other one looking to join Dylan Young as a two-time winner, talking about pole sitter Carter Friesen. He was a winner this season already at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Comes into this race 14th in the point standings as well. Surprisingly enough, though, despite his victory at Atlanta, he only has 2 top 10 finishes in the first 11 races on the year. So definitely trying to keep consistency up and keep himself ahead of the 30th position in points, which plays a big factor into a lot of drivers' agendas coming into this race. We'll get to that in a moment. Cole Baker, of course, the last win that he had came, if I remember correctly, at the Charlotte Roval last year. He was a 2-time winner last season, of course, as mentioned, winning the Daytona 500 back in Season 2 as well. This season, though, first 11 starts, 1 top 5. That was his only top 10 as well. He is 38th in the points coming into this one. He is a total of 27 points behind 30th in the standings. This team really needs a good run here this evening. So far this season, we've had 11 races and 10 different drivers go to victory lane, so the playoff grid is starting to build up as well. But there are some former winners coming into this race with a bit of a dilemma. As far as the drivers that have won this season, Zach Rogers is the highest in the points. He is 3rd in the standings. Dylan Young, 2-time winner, is 5th. Ryan Brommer is 7th. Carter Friesen, we mentioned, is 14th. James Qualls is 20th. 22nd is Nathan Hudson, and Charles Sandfer in 25th. We have 3 drivers coming into this race that are former winners outside the top 30 in points. One of them includes this season's Daytona 500 winner, Carson Gum. After suffering a dead last DNF finish with a barrel roll down the back straightaway at his home track of Texas last week, he dropped 8 spots in the standings. He is 32nd in the points coming into this race. He's 2 points, though, behind 30th in the standings, so a good run would put him back in the top 30. Same deal for our Bristol winner, Nathan Ormond. He's 33rd in points, but he's only 7 points behind the 30th in the standings cut line. The driver that really we need to focus on, that really, I don't know what it is, but the wheels have just come off the train, it seems, and that is Jacob Thibodeaux. Now, he starts off well tonight, rolling off from 3rd position, but our winner from Las Vegas comes into this race dead last in points. 40th out of 40 drivers. And if my calculations are correct, he is 47 points. Almost a full race behind 30th in the standings. This team needs something to happen now. It can't wait. I know there's a whole second half of the regular season to go, but there are going to be a lot of other different winners that are going to be winning during that second half of the regular season. They cannot afford to continue to fall further down in the point standings and be further away points-wise from 30th in the standings. They need the good runs to happen now if that rookie's going to make it into the playoffs. As far as the overall point standings coming into this race, a former winner from this race itself back in Season 1 is your overall points leader, that being Benny Watson. He took the checkered flag here back in Season 1 in the Throne of Games 500. 18 points he enjoys over a 2-way tie for second between William Brock and our Springfield winner, Zach Rogers. So those will be the 3 we'll keep an eye on as far as that's concerned. Watson's the former winner at this track. The defending winner is 2-time winner Dylan Young, who took the Grand Theft Auto 5 Ford Mustang last season to victory lane in what was his first career win. As a matter of fact, back-to-back seasons, a driver has gotten their first career win. So we look at drivers like Adam Garcia, Jack Mitchell, Vince Almariego, looking for their first career win. You've also got a lot of rookies out there that haven't won yet this season, like Patrick Smith, Cole Deaver, Austin Kolano, R Macklin, Phil Parker. Could we be seeing one of them get their first career Duracell Cup Series victory here this evening? We're going to have to wait and find out. Now, why did I do all of this preliminary stuff before we even got the command? Because, like last season, our editing crew was hard at work. They're going to be giving you the special Throne of Games 500 starting grid. So let's get the command and get these cars rolling.
Drivers, start your engines.
56 laps of racing await us here this evening at the Lady in Black. The track too tough to tame. I don't know. It seems to have more names than I do aliases, as these drivers are going to roll off here off of pit road. And we are going to show you your starting lineup for tonight's 3rd annual Throne of Games 500 at Darlington Raceway. There's a look at your starting grid. You can also look at the grid down in the description below, but we always do it fancy here when we come to Darlington. 56 laps of racing. Things that these drivers will have to worry about, especially if we go into a long green flag run, are the tire temps. That right front, a lot of pressure gets put onto it. When the tire heat builds up, these drivers have to adjust how they approach turns 1 and 2 and turns 3 and 4 because they are not alike. The track is kind of shaped like an egg. But Camaro drivers, Friesen and Baker, get us underway. Let's roll at Darlington. And of course, with this being the Throne of Games 500, we will be going back through the field during the course of this race and showing off the game-related liveries, as Friesen checks out by about a car length and a half over Baker, who's under fire from one of those gaming-related cars, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, on the number 33 of J Thibodeaux, dead last in the points as we documented before the command was given. We had a Grand Theft Auto car win here last year with Dylan Young. Will a Grand Theft Auto car win this season with J Thibodeaux? Right behind him is N Ormond, our Bristol winner. Club Penguin, the sponsorship on his Toyota Camry out of Joanna Atwood Motorsports. Now, I thought Club Penguin was dead. They may have revamped it in some way, but the last I knew, Club Penguin did not exist. It had actually shut down, but then again, I've never played it before, so how would I know? Jesse Turner moving by Ormond for second. Matthew Rodriguez going to move into third. Long winless streak for the 57 car as he last won back at Arizona in Season 1. And he's got Michael Norman, former teammate, right behind him there in the 18. Turner is going to go to the race lead. And the 47 car, Jesse Turner coming to this race 31st in points. He had a good run last week, though, at Texas. Moved up 4 spots in the standings, now trying to work his way back up into the top 30 in the points. Turner has made the playoffs the last 2 seasons. And I saw Thibodeaux in the 33. He slid up a little bit there. You can't overstep the cushion, because if you do and hit that wall just kind of sucks you in, and it kills all your momentum. And if you've got drivers lined up behind you, they can't slow down and allow you the time to recover. See them running right up against the wall there. It's an art of running the outside line at Darlington. Zach Rogers, we mentioned him, along with William Brock and Benny Watson. They're going to be in that hunt for the overall points lead here this evening. Right now he's up in the top 5, looking for 4th on Turner, following in the tire tracks of Charles Belding, who just moved to 2nd behind J Millz, who went to the lead. Rogers, his win this season came at Springfield, so he's going to be happy to know that we're going to another dirt track next week, the final race of the first half of the regular season. Caution's out, by the way. We're going to Fuel Motorsports Park next week. First caution comes out on lap 6. As these drivers race their way back to the caution, J Millz will take it. And let's see. Oh, we got a car upside down. That's Johnny Gardner, the NASCAR 06 Toyota Camry out of Joanna Atwood Motorsports. On his lid, and the Ridge Racer 4 Ford Mustang of Jordan Lopes also was involved. Lopes came into this race 16th in points. Johnny Gardner came in 23rd. And both of them were involved in whatever this incident was. We'll look further back here. There's some damage on Cole Deaver, 2nd in the rookie points. Our Michigan winner, Nathan Hudson, just ahead of him. Looks like that was all the drivers, at least with damage, though. So we may have had a rather small incident here. And we had some takers and we had some leavers as far as pit stops. That's interesting. If this thing goes into a long green flag run, when we go back green, some of these drivers are going to be a little bit better on fuel than others, and this could make things very, very interesting near the closing stages of this race, if indeed these drivers here are going to be on an entirely different pit sequence from those that decided to come to pit lane. So J Millz is going to be the race leader. He'll more than likely be the leader when we go back green. Let's go back and see what happened to bring out the first caution of the evening here at Darlington. Well, here it was. We'll see if we can pinpoint what happened. I actually think we should look a little bit further up because it might have been started with Cole Deaver and Nathan Hudson. Further back, Jordan Lopes must have gotten into the wall because he was way, way back there. K Mathews already has front-end damage at this point as well. Oh, there it was right there. Yep, Hudson and Deaver getting into each other, and oh, they just kept hitting each other. They probably could have kept it straight, but they kept hitting each other. And there's going to be nowhere for Johnny Gardner to go. He tries to go low, makes contact there with Deaver, hits into Hudson, and oh man, just gets completely catapulted forward by Jordan Lopes. We saw how far back Lopes was, and he never slowed. Completely nailed the back of Johnny Gardner and sent him actually airborne. I think that car left the racing surface. Johnny Gardner and I, when we race online with each other, we joke about sending each other to Narnia. Well, Jordan Lopes just sent Johnny Gardner to Narnia. And that is a tough break there for Johnny Gardner. There's no way that he or Jordan Lopes are going to be able to continue. That's going to suffer them DNFs very early on here in the Throne of Games 500. Let's go back real quickly, see what happened to Lopes and Mathews to give them their early damage before we go back green. This was back on lap 4, so a couple laps earlier. And Mathews is the car behind Lopes, so I think they both were involved in the same incident there. There you just see, yep, Lopes oversteps the cushion. Mathews gets into the back of him. Fortunately, you saw there Lopes was smart. He got on the brakes, kept the car straight, and waited till it got off of the wall. But you could see how Mathews got damaged. Now, why did Mathews get damaged? Because, as I said, the wall kind of sucks you in. And so Lopes went down from about 180 miles per hour down to about 150. There's just not enough reaction time for Mathews to slow up as well. He's going 180, and next thing he knows, he's into the back of the 38. So that's one thing about Darlington that always seems to be a deciding factor into whether you're going to finish this race in one piece or on the end of a tow hook. And, of course, we saw what happened between Hudson and Deaver that caused that big wreck over there in Turn 1. And I think that was a byproduct as well of how this track Darlington races. So with our first caution, we will go back green on lap 11. But minus 2 of our gaming cars, Jordan Lopes and Johnny Gardner, have both taken their machines back behind the wall. Cole Deaver, however, along with Nathan Hudson and K Mathews, they have come down pit road, repaired their cars, they're still running, and still on the lead lap. J Millz, first on, or actually, no, he didn't come to pit road, I'm sorry. He was the leader when the caution came out, and he stayed out. So he's restarting the leader over Charles Belding, who's right now the highest running rookie. Zach Rogers currently in 3rd, Mitchell Collins 4th, Jesse Turner 5th, and the rest of your top 10 are going to be Michael Norman, Aaron Macklin, Nathan Ormond, Carter Friesen, And last week's winner, R Brommer, will line up in 10th. So both the Bulldog Motorsports challengers are up at the front yet again. Lap 11 is when the green flag will come back out. And remember, there were some drivers that came to pit road and a number of our race leaders stayed out. So if we go into a long green flag run, how is that going to play into green flag pit stops? Millz got a good jump. He got about a car length, maybe car length and a half advantage back to the Krispy Kreme Chevrolet of Charles Belding. Belding has 3 top 10s in his first 11 starts this season, but those other finishes outside the top 10 have been really bad, so he finds himself 37th in points. He actually last week, though, at Texas, moved out of dead last in the points up to 37th, so maybe, just maybe, this team is turning things around here as we head into the end of the first half of the regular season. Next week, we're going to be going to another dirt track. We're going to Fuel Motorsports Park. And then we start focusing on All-Star Race Weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Let's look at the Fords. 1, 2, 3. Millz, Collins, and Turner. But now a Camry trying to break them up. Michael Norman, the Pizza Hut, number 18. And Aaron Macklin right behind him. Let's look at some more of our gaming cars through the field here. Got to drop back quite a ways before we find our next one. Now this one we've seen most of the season already, but it still is a gaming-related car. Ghost Recon on the number 77 of rookie points leader Patrick Smith. Not too far back, you got the Blue Oval Automotive entry of Levi McIntyre. On his number 99, he's got Brock Lesnar featured on the hood with WWE SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. We already talked about Jacob Thibodeaux there in the 33. V Almariego, the Gary's Mod, number 42 Chevrolets. We got a car up in the wall. That's his teammate, Belding. Turner was also up into the wall as well in the 47. Looks like they're all going to make their way around there, fortunately, though, as Charles Sandfer, the next gaming car. American Truck Simulator on his 03. This is actually one of my favorite schemes of the gaming-related cars here this evening. Another great thing, too, is you can't really see them that well on track. You can't see the detail and everything, but with the custom starting grid we had at the beginning of the race, you got to see what the cars really look like in detail, right up close. Motorsports Manager 3 Mobile on the number 8 of Matt Haas. I love the color. I wish I could know what that color is called. It's like a teal green almost, but that doesn't seem like the right color to call it. But it really stands out on track, a beautiful color there, like an emerald green, kind of. Right behind him, Ryan Butcher, another Camry, the number 78 out of Auto Junction Racing, sponsored by Mario Maker 2. Got Mario and Luigi on either side of the car. And another Camry behind them, another game-related car. That is Rainbow Siege 6 on the number 84 of Cody Llamas out of Michael Norman Motorsports. Battlefield 3 on the Lake Effect Autosport Ford Mustang of Phil Parker. And right behind him, William Brock, who's in that tussle with Watson and Rogers for the points lead. William Brock with MX versus ATV on his car. That's a dirt bike and ATV racing game, I believe. Jessica Shelton, South Carolina native, right now in the 29th position with the Sid Meier Civilizations sponsorship on her 02 out of S3 Motorsports. And last year, he drove the Overwatch car. This year, seemed only fitting to drive the Overwatch 2 car. That's Jack Mitchell in the JM01 Motorsports entry. Well, he's got 2 gaming-related cars during the course of the season anyway, with Toontown rewritten and Town of Salem, but another gaming-related car here for Carter Friesen, or not Carter Friesen, Carson Gum. I don't know why I keep getting those 2 names mixed up. Carson Gum with the Spyro, what's it called? Ignited Trilogy? Reignited Trilogy. That's what it's called. Spyro Reignited Trilogy on his backmarker Motorsports number 19. Right now, the Daytona 500 winner running in 33rd, and we mentioned that he needs a good run to get back in the top 30 in the standings. Maybe Homer Simpson's driving this car because it's back in 34th. Austin LaPlante, the 48 out of Northeast Motorsports with the Simpsons Road Rage game on his Chevrolet Camaro, and driving the pink machine that you would actually drive as Homer Simpson in the game. We saw Belding in the wall earlier. He's now fallen back to 35th. Mathews 36th, Deaver 37th, and Hudson 38th. Right now, the last car on the lead lap and the last car running on track. I believe we've gone through all of the gaming cars in the field. Let's now focus on the battle up front as we're nearing the halfway point. Macklin now the race leader. He's got Levi McIntire right behind him. J Millz there as well, so the Blue Oval's looking strong here. But then you got the Camrys of Patrick Smith and Michael Norman in 4th and 5th. And now Millz trying to go back to the race lead. He'll get 2nd back away from Levi McIntire. So we saw Jesse Turner go up and get into the wall. We saw Charles Belding go up and get into the wall. Question is, who makes the next mistake? I think that if you're lucky, you're able to pin your car down there that inside line. That gets you away from the outside wall. If you're stuck in that outside line, then you're hoping and praying you don't overstep that cushion. Patrick Smith comes into this race 24 points out of the points lead, 4th overall in the standings, and has an 11-point lead over Cole Deaver for the rookie points lead. It's been a great start to the year for that driver out of Junction Motorsports, or out of Junction Racing. But, you know, if you think about it, too, last year, Casey Nanico picked up a victory when he drove the 77 for AJR. So this secondary team, even though they've put a rookie in it the past 2 seasons, it has gone out and it has performed well. And it's going to go to the race lead now. Michael Norman's going to move into 2nd. Mitchell Collins right there in 3rd. We talked about Matthew Rodriguez, the long winless streak he had back to Arizona. Collins has had a winless streak go all the way back to Kansas of Season 1. So it's been a long time since he's been to victory lane. James Qualls, our Pucaco winner, suffered a poor performance last week at Texas, dropped 8 spots in standings down to 20th. He's now up to 4th, and we got a wreck out of turn 4. I just saw it there on the top of the screen. Caution is out, and I believe the leaders took it. They did. The caution came out before Patrick Smith hit the line, and that was a big wreck there out of turn 4. And with the spaciousness that you see here on both the back and front straightaways, sometimes when cars are spinning in front of you, there is no room to maneuver. Kind of seems like an oxymoron to say, but it really is true, especially with the speeds these drivers carry through the corners of upwards of 180 miles per hour. And I think everybody's going to hit pit road this time, whether they pitted on the last caution or not. There you see the smoke lingering out of turn 4 onto the front straightaway. And Carson Gum was involved in it. The Daytona 500 winner who needed a good run to get back in the top 30 in points, all crunched up. It looks like Spyro may have unleashed fire and fury on that car and melted it. Defending champion Ryan Acosta has also been collected up. 15th in the points coming to this one. Outside pole sitter Cole Baker's got rear end damage. And we may not know the full extent of drivers that were involved until we go back and look at the replay, because there are some drivers that still are carrying the battle scars, pun intended, since this is a Game of Thrones type sponsored race. From the first caution of the day, I thought I saw Phil Parker possibly with a little damage on the right side back there, so he may have been involved as well. Battle off of pit road, I believe, was won by Keith Batson, and I think he was one of the drivers that came to pit road under the first caution, so he was able to short pit. Levi McIntire will come out 2nd. Benny Watson, the inaugural winner of this race, looks like he might be 3rd. No, wait a minute. Thibodeaux's passing them all. So maybe Thibodeaux won the battle off pit road. Well, we'll find out in a moment. For now, let's go back and take a look at a replay of what brought out the caution for the 2nd time tonight, and then we'll sort everything out when we come back for the green. Like I said, I didn't think we'd know the full extent of drivers involved until we look back at the replay. The wreck actually started with Matt Haas in the 8. Kolano ahead of him gets up into the wall. So much speed scrubbed off, Matt Haas can't react in time. Phil Parker did get a piece of there as he and Haas kind of sandwiched Acosta, who goes up and rides the top of the safer barrier. Matthew Rodriguez gets involved along with Cole Baker. The whole right front got ripped off of Rodriguez's fun dip machine. Shelton, I think, got through. And then look at Carson Gum come flying in. And then he gets clobbered from behind by Jesse Turner. Oh no, Shelton did not get through. I thought that she and Garcia may have gotten through, but no, Shelton did not. Who did she get? Was it Baker? Yep. See right here, she's going to duck low, narrowly avoids Acosta, but then can't turn the car back to the right quickly enough and into the left rear of Baker. And there you see Carson Gum. He had clobbered Matt Haas, and then gets jacked up from behind by Jesse Turner. So there were a number of other drivers that we did not know initially were involved that did get a piece of it, and then you had contact there. Belding and LaPlante. Belding's going to go up and pound the outside wall as well pretty good with his Chevrolet. So a couple more drivers collected up in this wreck that we didn't know about. That's a tough break there for Shelton, who came into this race currently 27th in points. This could drop her out of the top 30 in the stands, and of course was hoping for a good performance, if not a win here in front of her home crowd. Baker had good starting track position up there in second. And Carson Gum, we mentioned as well, trying to work his way back into the top 30 Daytona 500 winner. Looks like that's not going to happen here this evening for the 19 team. Lights are out atop the pace car. We are now past the halfway point of this race as well. Jacob Thibodeaux was 5th in line coming to pit road. His team got him out first. He will be the race leader, the guy that came in dead last in points, our Las Vegas winner. This looks like a good sign, at least for the moment. Hopefully I didn't just jinx him. Keith Batson's going to line up in second. Batson hasn't won a race since Richmond back in season 1. Levi McIntyre is currently third. Benny Watson, who won this race 2 years ago, is in fourth. James Qualls in fifth. Then it's Patrick Smith, who was the leader when the caution came out. He's going to restart sixth. Dylan Young, defending winner of this race from a year ago, is seventh. Aaron Macklin, Mitchell Collins, and Nathan Ormond. That is your top 10. Drivers out of the race after this one are going to include Jesse Turner, Matthew Rodriguez, Cole Baker, Jessica Shelton, Ryan Acosta, Carson Gum, and Matt Haas. They join Jordan Lopez and J Gardner back in the garage area. So that leaves us 31 cars still running, and all 31 at this point are still on the lead lap. Green flag's going to come back out with 27, I believe, laps to go. If my calculations are correct, Thibodeaux gets us back underway. Another driver that really hurts. We talked about, Shelton and Gum and Baker. Well, another driver that really hurt was Ryan Acosta. Defending champion has been trying to make his way to victory lane to defend his title. So far this season has been unsuccessful. Came in 15th in points, though, has been running consistently, but going to suffer a DNF here this evening as Keith Batson all over the back bumper of Jacob Thibodeaux, trying to get to the left rear quarter panel. He might make a move down here into turn one. Who steps out? They were all snaking their way from outside to inside, back to outside down the front stretch. Nobody made a move that time. Chevy, Ford, Toyota. That's your top 5 as now Batson steps out of line. He's going to get to the inside and go for the race lead. And nothing Thibodeaux can do but hope and pray that a line opens up, a hole opens up on that inside line, as right now he is skating around the top side. Loses second to McIntyre, third to Watson, and he'll lose a lot more if he can't find his way back down to the bottom. Now the blue oval's back up front again. This time it's Batson and McIntyre. McIntyre hasn't won since last year when he got his first and only career win at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Mentioned about Batson not winning since season 1. Battle for third between a couple of Camrys. Qualls steps out on Watson, puts him up to the top side. Qualls is going to move up to third. Patrick Smith now going to follow in his tire tracks. He'll move up to fourth. Right now for Benny Watson, before he got kicked to the outside line, he's been doing a good job of keeping William Brock and Zach Rogers behind him, keeping his points lead. And, we focus on the overall points, and you're probably thinking, now, why are we focusing on that when it's basically a win-you're-in system? Because if a driver that makes the playoffs wins the overall regular season point standings championship, they get 10 extra bonus points this season going into the playoffs. And, when you think about it, that almost could be thought of as a guaranteed ticket into the round of 12 from the round of 16. Very valuable bonus points that could be. As now Qualls moves into second, and there's a driver working his way up here that I think we should keep an eye on. That's Charles Sandfer in the 03 and William Brock in the 88. They've now moved into 5th and 6th. As now Macklin's going to kick his teammate Batson to the outside line for second. Qualls to the race lead, and that is a very valuable bonus point for James Qualls, who's trying to work his way back up in the point stands after winning about 3-4 weeks ago at the road course of Pukaka. Qualls has never had a multi-win season. He won at Martinsville back in Season 1, went winless in Season 2, had the win at Pukaka here in Season 3. So only 2 career wins in the span of 3 seasons. I would love to be a multi-time winner this year with Dylan Young. Single file now amongst the top 5. As Sandfer slots into 4th, Brock into 5th. Best battle now going on for the 7th spot. Zach Rogers and Keith Batson. Carter Friesen right there as well in the 37. The pole sitter working his way back to the front. T Wright as well. Car in the wall! That's 22 of Mitchell Collins. Everybody trying to get around him safely. Ooh, this does not look good going into turn 1. They make it through somehow. Tough break there for Collins, though, as he lost a lot of track position because of that. Up to the front, battle for the lead. Charles Sandfer now to the inside of Aaron Macklin. And he'll go to the front. But here comes William Brock in the 88. Pretty certain Brock hasn't won a race in Season 1 either. Trying to remember where his last win was, but now he goes to the lead. So far here at Darlington, it's been a Toyota and a Ford that have won the past 2 races. Watson Season 1, Young in Season 2, Chevrolet and Dodge have not. They've got some contenders up here. But we've also got a long ways to go, too. We went back green with, what was it, about 27 laps to go. Don't really know what the fuel window is. Are these drivers going to have to hit pit lane before we get to the checkered flag? Going to have to wait and see. Everybody was on pit road under the last caution, so they're all on the same sequence as far as how far they can make it on fuel. The question is anybody saving right now to maybe go a little bit further? Well, Zach Rogers picking a time to charge to the front now. He'll move to 3rd, getting by Charles Sandfer. Pole sitter Carter Friesen right there with him. As up front, William Brock's got a rear deck lid full of Brock Lesnar. It's Levi McIntyre in the 99. Drop back a little further here, and how about Kyle Mathews? Remember we saw earlier he ended up getting into the back of Jordan Lopez? Well, the buckle is still there on his hood, but he's been able to work his way up into, I believe now, the top 10. I think he just passed Qualls for 10th place. So a nice comeback here for a driver that had early damage. And speaking of a driver that had damage, that's Charles Belding, who's about to be reeled in by the race leaders. We're going to have slower traffic to deal with now. William Brock's going to move to the inside on Belding, who threw a block on him. I thought the 91 was going around off the nose of the 88, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Belding trying to stay on the lead lap, but now I don't think he's going to be able to. Brock gets alongside of him. He's going to pass him, and that's going to hurt Levi McIntire, who's not only going to be stuck on the outside, but now he's going to be stuck on the outside behind a slower machine. Carter Friesen, our Atlanta winner, trying to be a 2-time winner this season. Started on the pole, would love to go coast to coast here at Darlington. He's to 2nd, T Wright now 3rd, and last week's winner, R Brommer, trying to go back-to-back victories. He's in 4th. M Saatchi, our Lime Rock winner from last year, is in the 5th position. Right now in 6th would be Kyle Mathews and Jack Mitchell right there in 8th. And how about the 2 defending winners of this race? Dylan Young, 9th, Benny Watson, 10th. They're coming back to the front. Nathan Ormond right there in the 8th position. Good run there for the 41, well needed after falling out of the top 30 in points, our Bristol winner. Right now you've got the top 6, 7, 8 cars all lined up nose to tail. Brommer's going to be the one to step out of line. That's for 3rd. Next time by is 10 laps to go. The question is, are we going to see this racing to the finish, or will there be green flag pit stops intermingled somewhere? Now T Wright stuck on the top side as he's going to get passed for 4th by Saatchi. Kyle Mathews also got kicked to the high side. He's going to lose 6th to Jack Mitchell. Another car that was way back in the pack early on that has worked his way now almost into the top 10 is the 42 of Vince Almariego. He's now in the 15th position. And he was back with drivers like Carson Gum and Austin LaPlante, who had lost the draft before that last caution came out. So a good comeback for the 42 car. Meanwhile, up front, R Brommer is now slotted into second. William Brock's done a good job so far of keeping the battle for second place in his rearview mirror. But Brommer is a man on a mission. He's already got a victory now this year. That win moved him up into the 7th position in points. He wants more, but now he gets kicked up to the top side. That's Mitchell going for second. Oh, was there a car in the wall back there? It looked like Saatchi was in the wall. I think he was. Somebody else was too. Carter Friesen in the 37 was also in the wall. Ooh, careful guys. Boy, Cole Deaver down there on the apron, and that transition from the apron to the track is treacherous. And I was afraid Deaver was going to come back up into somebody. But Saatchi drops back to 13th, and Friesen now drops outside the top 15 with both of them hitting the wall. Back up to the front, new race leader, as we mentioned, Jack Mitchell goes to the point. And remember we mentioned Mitchell, Almariego, Garcia all took the green flag to start the season 1 at Daytona, but they're still looking for their first checkered flag. Could Mitchell get his first career win here tonight at Darlington? Battle for second. Defending winner of this race, Dylan Young to the inside of Ormond. Car in the wall. Brock right in front of Brommer. They save it though. But boy, that killed Ryan Brommer's momentum and gave right side damage. A Darlington stripe to the 88 of William Brock. Back up to the front though. Mitchell continues to lead. Then it's the two Darlington winners, Young and Watson, battling for second. Laps ticking away, and they were closing in on traffic as well. The 12 of Adam Garcia, the 74 of Phil Parker. They're going to get reeled in here by the top, 6, 7 cars. They could be a factor in this. Where do they encounter him? Mitchell closes in on Garcia. He's a teammate to the 2, let's not forget. Not able to play defense for his teammate Dylan Young. Mitchell will get to the inside, put Garcia a lap down. Now closes in on Phil Parker. I think these 6 are just going to try and concentrate on getting by the lap traffic before they start racing each other again. You got Mitchell, Young, Watson, Mathews, Batson, and Ormond all battling up here. 2 of these drivers are former winners this season, and Ormond and Young, the other one's all looking for their first win on the year. Mitchell looking for the first of his career. Watson looking for his first since this race 2 years ago. Mathews looking for his first of the season. And Batson looking for his since a long winless streak back to Richmond in season 1. 3 laps to go here at Darlington. Jack Mitchell having to hold off 2 drivers who have taken checkered flags at this track before. Can he do it? Jack Mitchell comes into this race 6th in the overall point standings. Gained 3 spots after last week's race at Texas. It's been a great season so far after back-to-back horrible seasons in season 1 and season 2. Could this be the payoff with a victory for his first career win at Darlington? 1.5 laps left to go here. He's just got to hold Dylan Young at bay, who's trying to win back-to-back Darlington races. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Last chance for Young or Watson to wrestle this win away from Mitchell. Dylan Young's close enough, but does he have enough momentum down the back straightaway and make a move down here into turn 3? It's his last chance. Mitchell gonna keep the car as wide as he can. No move made by Dylan Young. I think he's out of time. Off turn 4. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. He must be loving it. Jack Mitchell, first career win, will take place here at the Throne of Games 500. Jack Mitchell. A total of, I believe, 80. What is it? 80. Let me quickly do the calculations in my head here. 83 races. 83 races. 84 if you count today. 83 race winless streak coming into tonight's event. And finally, this winless streak is broken. Jack Mitchell is a Duracell Cup Series winner, and for the 3rd straight season, the Lady in Black gives us a first-time career winner in the Duracell Cup Series. It was Watson's first career win back in season 1. It was Dylan Young's first career win 1 season ago. And tonight, it's Jack Mitchell holding off the 2 former Darlington winners for his first career win in the Duracell Cup Series. Talked about him having such a great start to the year. 6th in the standings coming into this race. And not only is he having a great year, but he could have himself a great postseason as well, as that win may have put him into his first appearance in the Duracell Cup Series playoffs. What a race, what a finish, and what a winner. Jack Mitchell, that leaves V Almariego and A Garcia as the 2 drivers yet to take a checkered flag that have run every Duracell Cup Series race. Charles Sandfer was on that list before he took the checkered flag at ISM, so you know what? We've checked off 2 of the 4. Maybe the other 2 will be later on here this season. Dylan Young won 1 year ago, finishes 2nd this year. Benny Watson, who won 2 years ago, finishes 3rd. And this is really big for Benny Watson, too, because this will keep him the points lead going into next week at Fuel Motorsports Park. Kyle Mathews, I think, definitely gets comeback driver of the race after having that early damage. He battled back for 4th. 5th for Keith Batson. Nathan Ormond was the highest finishing rookie. He'll finish in 6th. Jose Millz in 7th. Jacob Thibodeaux, a well-needed run for that driver. We'll see how he does in climbing up through the points with an 8th place run. William Brock will finish in 9th, and V Almariego will finish the day out in 10th. Rest of your top 15 were T Wright, Patrick Smith, Ryan Brommer, M Saatchi, and A Kolano. And then your top 20, Michael Norman, Cody Llamas, Carter Friesen, J Deaver, and J Qualls. A couple of drivers that kind of faded back there in the closing stages, and I'm not really sure why. Zach Rogers back to 23rd, McIntire back to 24th, and Sandfer back to 25th, and they were all up inside of the top 10 at one point nearing the closing stages of that race. I don't know if maybe they got held up, maybe got up into the wall, maybe got held up by slower traffic perhaps as well. McIntire got held up behind Belding, if I remember correctly, so that might have been something that happened to both Rogers and Sandfer also. Look on down through the remainder of the finishing results. 28 cars finished on the lead lap. Phil Parker, A Garcia, and Charles Belding all finished off the lead lap. And then we ended up having 2 cautions that took out the remaining drivers. Jesse Turner, Matthew Rodriguez, Cole Baker, Jessica Shelton, Ryan Acosta, Carson Gunn, and Matt Haas. They all got taken out on the second caution. Jordan Lopez and Johnny Gardner, they DNF'd after the first caution of this evening. But that does it here from Darlington Raceway. The track too tough to tame was tamed. Jack Mitchell, first career win in the Duracell Cup Series. Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's race here in the Throne of Games 500. Always an exciting race whenever we come here, and always a special race here too with all these drivers with their game-related race cars. If you enjoyed tonight's race, though, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We've shown you full figure results. These are what your point standings look like heading into next week. Next week, it's our second dirt track stop of the season, as we are going to be going to Fuel Motorsports Park. That's our final race of the first half of the regular season. Then we focus on All-Star Race Break at the Charlotte Motor Speedway before beginning the chase towards the chase for the championship, our second half of the regular season, beginning with the Coke 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. But until then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching the production of the SRA All-Flying Racing at its best. Jack Mitchell snaps an 83-race winless streak for his first career win tonight at Darlington. We'll see you guys next week.